Okay, here we are back in the second and unexpected part of our coding for the GeoShock weapon. Now I say second and unexpected because I wasn't really planning this one. I was hoping to have everything set up and done correctly in the first one. Now if you watch the let's check this in the video, well in-game video I should say, you'll have noticed that the weapon was not pointing in the correct direction, neither in the first person view or the third person view. Now this can happen for various reasons, the way the code has been wrote or the way your weapon has been exported, and there are a few little things that we can do to sort this out. I mean, you could re-export your weapon. As you can see here, I'm just sliding down to where we get to the default properties. Now as I said, you could re-export your weapon. You could possibly, although I wouldn't advise it, rotate the origin in the Unreal editor. If say in our case we are doing the model, the exporting, the importing, making the package in the editor and doing the code, you could quite easily do that all yourself. In a lot of cases, if you're working in a small team, or even if you're doing this as part of a big publishing team, if you're doing the code, then the chances are you would have had nothing to do with actually making the 3D content. So what we then have to do is actually go into the code and move things around. And the way we do this is here in the default properties. Now as you can see here, I've annotated the rotation value. If you looked at, well, let's just go grab the original files that we played with. As you can see here, I'm just to the downloaded stuff. Let's just, before I forget, let's just go down here and get the attachment, shock rifle attachment, so we can see. I'll just move that over there because, go on, no, it don't want to go that way, so we'll go that way, smash in, and we'll go down all the way down to get the actual shock rifle code. We'll get there in a minute. Here we go, there we are. Okay, alright, we'll put that there, so we've got GeoShock shock rifle. Now if we go down here, now you see it's already gone to the area that I want anyway. Lucky enough, eh? Now, so what have I done to do this? Well, if you notice, the weapon in game was actually pointing in the wrong direction in the first person view. Now out of experience, because I've done this a few times, but I forgot to do it when we done the first coding. Intentionally? Well, no, I'll be very honest on that. But as you can see here, the rotation value of the mesh, first person mesh, is set at a yaw equals minus 16,384. Now if you don't, I'll try to explain what that value actually is in a minute. Okay, but to get our weapon to point in the correct direction, I've put in these two little backslashes. Watch this. When I've just deleted them. Now if I just type in two backslashes here, that sends that line to green, which means it's edited out. That's a very quick way of, instead of deleting, just sort of like blocking it out and say don't use this line. Okay, so we've corrected that. Trust me, when we start it up in game, well, once we compile it, start it up in game, that should be pointing in the correct direction, e.g. straight ahead. Now obviously I've done a little bit of testing on this, and what I've also found, if we go down here, is the player view offset. Now this is one of the things that you're going to have to get used to fiddling with. because sometimes either the weapon will be look like it's sitting too high or sitting too low. Now, unless you're doing this sort of like every day, like me, because I don't do this every day, I can never remember whether the minus is going to send the mesh upwards or downwards. So I'm going to increase this value to, let's go to 18. Oh, there we go, 18. So hopefully that'll drop it quite the way down, but then again it might not. Now, another thing that I noticed when testing this weapon in game, when we picked up the weapon from the pickup, it only reported weapon. Now, to be honest, that should be done in the ini file, and unfortunately for some reason it doesn't pick it up. Now, what we have to do here is, so that it actually says GeoShock when we pick the weapon up, is enter this line here. Okay, item name equals, I can't remember what that sign is, GeoShock, and then close again. Okay, now that's what we have to do in our normal UT Weapon GeoShock file. Okay, now if I just show on the normal shock weapon, you'll see there's a player view offset. Obviously you haven't got your item names on this, you've got your inventory group, we'll just leave that as it is, and that's it. The item name is normally picked up either by the UT game file, well, UT game ini file, or the normal ini file, and at the moment it's not. If I suss this out and how to do it, the best way to do it, I'll get back to you on it and probably post it in my written forum, in the forum or in the written tutorials, but we'll leave that for the moment. Now, the other thing I've changed is in the attachment. Now, if you saw, the attachment was pointing the wrong way in the third person view. Remember I typed in behind view? Now, I've entered here, now if we look at the normal attachment file, it doesn't have anything. Okay, so all I've done is sort of like copied and pasted, put that line in there, and I've set the rotation to your 16,384, now, which was the exact opposite of what the original was on the first person view. Okay, now you're going to have to get used to this. It's fun and games time, depending on how your weapon has been exported and if it's been exported correctly, whether you'll have to put in these rotation values or not. Now, don't forget, you can also put in pitch and roll. So if for whatever reason your weapon is not pointing in the correct direction, then you can actually change it by code. Now, I know what you're asking, where on earth do I get this figure of 16,384? Because every man and his dog works with degrees, which only has 360 degrees in a full circle. Well, one thing Epic's used is what is called a radian. Now, if you don't know what a radian is, look it up on Wikipedia, and basically to work it out what a radian is, it's the actual circumference of a circle. So you take a circle of, say, a unit of 1, whether you're taking a yard, a metre, an inch, or whatever you want to play with, times that by, well, what is it? Hang on, no, you take a radius. That's right, get my head around this correctly. A radius of 1, okay? And then work out the circumference of a circle. And the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, which is 2 times pi times the radius. So then you get, what is it? Oh god, hang on, let me just get my calculator out. This is one thing I use quite a lot when working with these things. I haven't got my glasses on, so I'm just trying to work out where pi is. Doopy-doopy-doo. No, I can't see it for the life of me on this thing. Anyway. Oh, there we go. Let's see if I can get this. 2 times... No, that didn't work. Here we go. So 2 times invert pi, which is 3.141592654, and on and on and on, times 1 equals, and that is, well, what could be used as 62831 blah 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 blah. Now obviously what we've done here, I know I'm not typing this all out and can't really be bothered with that, but we're wanting a 90-degree angle. Okay, so a 90-degree angle would be a quarter of this value of what the full radian circle is. So you divide that again by 4 and you get not what it's got there. Okay. Anyway, okay, maybe a little bit confusing, but that's pretty much the way it works. I've probably done something wrong there, as I normally do, but that's basically what it is. They work in radians, and that's the 16,384 is basically a 90-degree angle. Okay, so you either go plus or minus to turn it which way you want. So what else have we done here? Well, I'm just having a quick check. I don't think I've actually done anything else on this one. So what I'll just do to make sure, I'll add a space at the bottom so we get the little asterisks at the top. So we'll save them. Now we'll close this down, get rid of that, and yet again we'll get the start the UT3 editor. We'll say scripts are outdated, you want to start rebuild now, and we'll go yeah, please, and hurry on about it, can you? And we go, oh, wait. I must admit, a bit sorry about the radian workings. Now I'm sure it worked at some time. I've probably messed that up completely and all. If you find out the correct working manner for this, then let me know and I'll just pass it on to everybody else. Okay, here we go, compiling away nicely. There we go, we're done. Now as you can see, I've also done other things. I was working on something last night for somebody else. So here we go, UT ammo Geoshock, UT attachment Geoshock, UT weapon Geoshock, all done. And as it says here, saving package to user geodav documents, my games, blah 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 blah, and we go to script Geoshock. So we can close that down. Yes, I know you have problems with that. Now this is something I didn't show you yesterday, because I had already started UT3 for when I was testing it, because I reduced the size of the screen to make things a bit easier for me. But what I'll show you this time, I'll just keep this full screen. When you're trialing and testing your stuff, you'll be using what we call, and what I showed you early, the unpublished. I'll get this open again. Here we go. Backwards and forwards like a yo-yo. UT game. You've got two sets. You've got your unpublished folder set. Okay, with all your stuff in there. And that's basically your working area. And once you've done everything, you will export it, or cook it as it's called. We'll get onto that in a minute. Alright. And you've got the same setup. Obviously we've not got our custom weapons and vehicles packages in here at the moment, but when you start the normal UT3 game, it will look what's in here. Yeah. Now if it's in there, it'll use it. If it's in the unpublished side, it won't use it. But to get everything to work correctly, and so that when you're trialing your game, you can use the unpublished side. You make a copy of your icon, your desktop shortcut, and then in this line up here, I wish I knew what it was called in English, but it's been that long since I used the English system, it's ridiculous. But anyway, at the end, just after the UT3 Exa, type in minus use unpublished, and that will then use your unpublished folder set. And that's what we're going to do now. Now this is going to take a little while, but we've got a bit of time. Recording here now at about 10 minutes, I think. I'll just see how this goes. Yeah. Now for whatever reason, my system doesn't like loading Unreal Tournament very fast. Maybe it's all the extra stuff that I've got in there with it, or whether it's because, well, it's even slow when I'm not recording. So, oh, here we go. There we go. That's my username. I bet you never guessed that. You won't see me online that often, I can tell you. Too busy doing these things. Right, off we go. Instant action. Deathmatch. Defiance. Like I said, I've got a good idea where the weapon is. Mutators. Now, for some reason, since patch 2.1, it keeps on giving me the arena mutator, although I keep using the weapon replacement. Now, just so you can see this, yeah, GeoShock's in there. Just go down to the shock rifle. There we go, that one. Make sure we're replacing it with a GeoShock. Go on accept and accept and start game. Now you might have noticed I set the number of bots down to 1, so that's so they don't come running after me and frag me to death. Although oh look, now that was handy. See, I did forget to do something, and that's this bit. Now as you can see, it's wobbling around on that, on the weapon base. Now there is a way to do that. There we go, GeoShock. Now you can see it's dropped down to quite a reasonable area. We can't see the tip of the barrel because that big slide bit's in the way. There you can go. Working fine there. Now if I remember rightly, now watch the ammo count on the bottom right. Dink, we just picked up 16. Now if you remember, I changed that in the code because originally it was 8. So what we do now, I hit the tab button, open the console. I'm just going down, so that's something I was trying to do but didn't work. Go into behind view, and there you can see he's holding it. Now it does look a little bit on the big side, doesn't it? I mean, let's be realistic. So all we do there is exit back out. No, wrong. Exit game. You sure? Yep. Go on, go away. Alright, let's just maximise this up again. So how can we deal with that? Well, the simple way to do it, I mean, let's be honest with it, you know me, copy and paste. It's just copy and paste that in there, and that's fine. Now, if I remember rightly, somebody actually mentioned on one of the forums that there is a translation default in the main weapon class, which causes the weapons to sort of rotate at that sort of looping round, and I prefer things to just sort of like spin. So what I'm just going to do, I know this is extremely boring, but I'm going to try and find the UT Weapon main class. You're saying, well, why is he going for the UT Weapon? Well, a simple reason. That's what it extends from. GeoShock from the UT Weapon. Okay. So let's see if I can just find that somewhere. Keep going, keep going. There we go. UT Weapon. Now, as you can see, this is an absolutely massive file. Well, it is for a UC file anyway. So let's see. I'm just going to go zap all the way down to the bottom, looking into for the default properties. Pick up mesh. Now I'm quite certain it should be in here. Well, hang on a minute, let's just see. Game weapon. So I don't think it'll be in that. I'm probably waffling out my backside here. I have seen it posted somewhere on one of the forums, and I am pivot translation. There we go. Now if we just copy that, and let's see, that was in the main weapon. Yep. And go back all the way down here. Now I'm going to put it just under here. Give me a bit of space. Paste that in there, and I'm going to change that from -25 to 0. Okay, now I'm hoping when we compile this, it will just affect, he says, just affect the pickup mesh. Now this is one of the things you will get used to when you're playing with the code. You'll go in there, find something, you go, oh, I think I know what that does. Change it. Hang on, let me just get this started up. You'll go in, you'll change it, and go, well, did that work or didn't it? Am I causing more problems? Well, the thing is, a lot of this really is trial and error. Okay? Now, it's all good fun, and you'll pull your hair out. See, there we go. This time compiled very quickly. Thank you. Now we'll go back into unpublished. Start the game up. I've still got a few minutes here to play with, because really what I'm trying to do is keep the video lengths down to a reasonable size, so you don't have to go scrolling and searching through everything to get the information that you want. You might notice if you watch the weapon tutorials, the initial 3D Max ones, well, not the weapons, the vehicle ones, I've always tried to keep them down to about 15-20 minutes max. This one, because we're dealing with code, it does take a little bit of time, and if I kept on stopping the video and then recording another bit, I'm just going to go to see, we've done that again. Remove that, don't want that one. Add that. Now we don't have to configure it, because as you notice, it was already configured to what we want. Start the game, and this time it will not, well, I bet you a cookie, it will not actually spawn us right in front. See, told you. Right. But it did come close, didn't it? Hey. Now, as you can see there, it is now rotating on the base bone. Yeah? Which is probably why what it translated in the first place. But I think that works a lot nicer. Right, there we go. Bang, bang, bang. Hit the tab button. Go down, behind view. Hit yes. And that size looks a lot better. Now what you really need to do is play a game with this, and then hit the player, well, type in the players only tab, and then go hunting for somebody who's got the shock rifle, your geo shock rifle. Okay, now that actually looks pretty much, yeah, you can tell the way I play this game, can't you? Okay, right. We'll just leave that at that, and that's actually worked as well as what I was expecting. Keeping up the ammo counts. Very nice. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, that's very nice. Now let's see. Don't play that animation. Well, you haven't got third-person animations, have we? Anyway, What a fool. Okay then, let's go back into the first person view. And there we go. Just cycle through the weapons. There we go. As you can see, yeah, drops down, comes back up. There we go. Okay, that's smashing. That's actually worked quite well. I'm quite happy with that. So that's basically it now for the weapon tutorials. Hopefully this has helped you and maybe a lot of other people, so I expect to see a lot more weapons being posted in the beta section and the completed section of the Epic forums. So we'll leave that for that, and I can now get on to doing other things. Okay, see you soon.